On behalf of the team here at Vinery, who take such a great pride in this property, the stock and facilities, we greatly appreciate your interest and support today of the farm and of those stallions. It's a great pleasure. We have More Than Ready back with us again this season. We never take for granted what a privilege it is to have a stallion of the calibre of More Than Ready on the farm. A wonderful horse himself, as you'll see this morning, just how well he is and how well he's travelled yet again. Sadly, this will most likely be his last year in Australia. Due to his high demand from breeders, he will return to USA at the end of the season, where he's booked for the 2019 Northern Hemisphere season is filling already, and at a fee of comparable to twice what he stands for here, so a wonderful horse. He continues to provide an amazing legacy for us here in Australia, through his sons and his daughters as broodmares. One of the rare stallions to be a success in both sides, both hemispheres, one of the rare shuttle stallions. Been a champion sire in America and Australia, champion 2-year-old sire, but he's gaining another mantle now, and that's a broodmare sire. He's in the top 5, he's the youngest horse in the top 5, and you'll see that grow over the years because he's a perfect outcross for our mares here. But now, so we look to the future, and I believe we have a very exciting young group of stallions. They've been well supported, they're producing outstanding stock, and we feel that their pedigree and performance is ideal for our conditions, and will give our mares a great opportunity to develop their produce records and give us a genuine return in the market. So without any further ado, I'd like to hand you over to Adam White, who will take us through the stallions. Thank you again for being here, and I hope you enjoy the parade.
Thank you, Peter. Good morning, everyone. I have the pleasure again of introducing the stallions to you this morning. I've been over these notes several times in my head over the last 24 hours, and I actually said to one of my 5-year-old daughters last night, are you going to come to Daddy's work and listen to Daddy talk about the stallions at the Stallion show this morning? And she very promptly replied, Daddy, I don't want to listen to any of that boring stuff. I just want to come and see the stallions. So without further ado, I'll try not to be too boring, but I've got a few things to say about the stallions, and I hope you find it informative and interesting, and most of all, take George's advice, sit back, relax, and enjoy these magnificent horses that we're bringing out for you today. So the first stallion we have out today this morning is a very affordable stallion and outcross to the very large population of Danehill line mares that we have in the country, and this is Pluck. He, of course, is a son of More Than Ready, and you can see he's that lovely brown colour that the Halo line is very much renowned for. He raced in America. He was trained by Hall of Fame trainer Todd Pletcher, who incidentally trained his sire, More Than Ready. He was a very talented juvenile. He raced ultimately on turf in America. He won the Summer Stakes at Woodbine as a 2-year-old. And then he won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf at Belmont. I mention it every year, but if you haven't seen that race, it is well worth going online and watching it. It was an incredible race. It's probably one of the most spectacular Breeders' Cup wins ever. He virtually fell out of the gates. He had to avoid a fallen horse rounding the first turn. That left him a good 10 lengths last. He slowly caught the back of the field, and then down the straight he showed an amazing turn of foot, weaved his way through the field and won in spectacular fashion. He's from a very prolific family. His first 3 dams are all Group 1 performers, and between them they've had 26 horses to the races, 23 winners, and incredibly 12 of them are stakes winners, including 3 Group 1 winners. He retired to Vinery in 2012, and he's quickly demonstrated that he's a great value type of horse. Amongst his stakes performing progeny, the Tony McAvoy Aspect, who won the Maribyrnong Plate during the Flemington Carnival. He also has the Darren Weir trained Mongolian Wolf, a group winner at Randwick, so he has the distinction of having group winners at Flemington and Randwick. Another group winner like Lady of the Wire, Plucky Girl, who's won over 300,000, including this year's Tamworth Cup, and other stakes performers, Lucky Louie, Lady Pluck, and the Hong Kong-based Gasoline. He's also got another handy horse over in Hong Kong called Win Win Ruby, and this has sparked a lot of interest from that region in his stock. Only this year at the Inglis Classic sale, leading Hong Kong trainer Tony Millard purchased a colt by this horse for $380,000 off the Smith family, who are here this morning. So that was a terrific sale result for the horse. And the More Than Readies are a breed that train on. Of course, he's also the sire of Sebring, who's a wonderful stallion. Also a stallion whose progeny train on. So that's marks this horse with a great future going forward. And as I said, he represents a terrific value at the 6,000 plus GST this year. And that offers... thanks, Dwayne. Both breeders breeding to race and breeding to sell a great opportunity. Country racing in New South Wales hasn't been going any better. The prize money is terrific, and a horse like this already has numerous TAB Highway handicap winners. He's had country championship qualify winners, and he's even got one of the favourites for the new $1.3 million Kosciuszko for country trained horses, and that's awesome Pluck. Another one of our very affordable stallions, and this is Casino Prince. Casino Prince, like Pluck, was a very talented 2-year-old. He won 3 races as a juvenile, including the Skyline Stakes Group 2. He was one of the favourites for the Golden Slipper of his year. He was a Group 3 winning 3-year-old, having won the Alistair Clark Stakes at Moonee Valley. And then at 4, he became a Group 1 winner over a mile when he won the Chipping Norton Stakes, beating Tuesday Joy. It didn't take long to establish himself as a young sire. He was champion first season sire and backed it up, being champion second season sire of his year. And of course, from his first crop, he produced a champion in All Too Hard, along with another Group 1 winner in Escado. He now has 15 individual stakes winners. They're good horses that train on. He also has horses like Hooked, who has won 4 stakes races, and also Mighty Lucky, another horse that's won 4 stakes races from anywhere up to the age of 6. He's also got a very good horse in Singapore called Lim's Cruiser, another horse that's won 4 stakes races, including the last 2 versions of the Lion City Cup, one of their major sprint races. So again, a stallion that's generating a lot of interest over in Asia. And in the last 3 seasons, this horse has sired over 100 individual winners, which is an amazing effort considering that over the last 3 years, there's only been 9 stallions to sire 100 individual winners in a season. 7 of these, of course, stand over $50,000. Casino Prince is the only stallion that stands below $25,000. And that represents terrific value. He's a son of Flying Spur, a former champion Australian sire, and he's got a wonderful female family being out of Lady Capel, who's by Last Tycoon. And she's a mare that's thrown 7 individual winners, including 4 at stakes level. Casino Prince stands for 9,000 plus GST this year. Again, a horse that represents terrific value under the 10,000 and gives breeders a great opportunity to breed to race locally, again with all that great prize money on offer in country New South Wales. And he's picking up another good book of mares because of it. But he will certainly give your mare a great opportunity of getting a winner, and also those breeders wanting to go to the sales. He'll give you a good opportunity to get many times your service fee, with his stock selling up to $180,000 last year. We'll now start to roll into some of our exciting young stallions. And the first of these is the dual Group 1 winner in Press Statement. A terrific athlete. Press Statement, when he retired, was the only horse of his generation to win a Group 1 race as a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old. He was undefeated as a 2-year-old. He started off with a win at Canterbury and Rose Hill, and his talent that he showed prompted Chris Waller to take him up to Brisbane to run him in the JJ Atkins Stakes Group 1 at just his 3rd start. And that's a race, incidentally, that his half-brother Press Day won, and a former great stallion that we've had here in Mossman won the same race. So after his 2-year-old year, that prompted us to buy a good interest in the horse with some friends like China Horse Club and Raffles Racing and Kiora. We raced the horse with them as a 3-year-old, and he returned as a 3-year-old to win the Stan Fox Stakes in the spring by 3 lengths at Group 2 level. The one thing Chris Waller always told us about this horse, and Hugh Bowman, who rode him a lot, was his fantastic attitude. And to race in Brisbane as a 2-year-old and then have a short break, come back, win a Group 2 race in Sydney and then head down to Melbourne is a testament to the attitude this horse has. He, of course, started a very short price favourite in the Caulfield Guineas. He jumped to the front. Hugh let him roll along in front, and he won the race in spectacular fashion. He returned in the autumn to win the Group 2 Hobartville Stakes at Rose Hill. We always thought he was best at 1,400 metres to a mile, and that Hobartville was over 1,400. But it's amazing to think what this horse did in just 12 months racing. So from the time he had his first start to the time he entered the Stallion Barn here was just 12 months. And in that time, he was a dual Group 1 winner, winning a Group 1 race at 2 and 3. He was placed in the George Ryder against older horses, including the winner, Winks. And he was voted champion 3-year-old colt in New South Wales of his year. All bar 2 of his starts were at stakes level, and over 50% of his starts were in Group 1 races. He's a son of Hinchinbrook, who sadly we lost to the industry earlier in the season. So therefore, a grandson of Fastnet Rock, a Danehill line horse. And out of Captive Empress, who I mentioned earlier has thrown 2 Group 1 winners, this horse and Press Day. He's covered 2 fantastic books of mares, and he's been well supported by his shareholders, China Horse Club, Raffles. Raffles sent him a very good mare in Give Me 5, who's a stakes winner and has thrown a Group 1 Royal Ascot winner. And his first crop of foals have entered the sales this year as weanlings, and he started off with a bang. He's had 2 weanlings up at the Magic Millions weanling sale this year, made 110,000, and that was a terrific way to start with his produce at the sales. He stands for 15,000 plus GST this year, and a horse of his calibre, a dual Group 1 winner. I'm sure you'll agree that he represents terrific value for the athlete he is, and with the sire line that is working. Thanks, Brad. This week we've had both sales companies come through the farm looking at the yearlings for next year's sales, and the feedback we've got from these sales companies has been terrific on his stock. They've mentioned there's a number of nice press statements at the farms that are going to the sales, and I know farms like Sledmere, who have got a lot of the China Horse Club bred press statements. Royston's very happy with his bunch over there. Linda Duckworth at Fairview has got a nice couple of press statements, so we're looking forward to seeing them at the sales next year. Another one of our exciting young horses coming through the ranks. And when you breed a Newmarket Handicap winner exceed and excel to an Oakley Plate winner like River Dove and you get a horse like this, then chances are you're going to get a very fast horse, and this is Headwater. He was bred by Crestfield Stud locally here in Scone, and we first spotted this horse at the yearling sales, at the Sydney Easter yearling sale, and fell in love with him. We bought him at the sales, and he was given to the Team Hawks, and it didn't take long to demonstrate what ability he had. He won his very first start at Moonee Valley just 2 days prior to Christmas. And then he went up to Sydney and won the Silver Slipper in spectacular fashion, winning that by 2.5 lengths at just his second start. He ran third in the Todman Stakes behind Vancouver and then ran in the Golden Slipper. He ran a terrific race in the Golden Slipper. At the 200 metre mark, he gave a real kick, did us proud. He was a very close fifth. And then he returned as a 3-year-old. In the spring of his 3-year-old year, he even ran fourth in the Moya, beaten 1.3 lengths behind 7-time Group 1 winner Buffering. In the autumn of his 3-year-old year, he again demonstrated what speed he's got, winning the Kensington Stakes down the Flemington Straight. And on that day, he defeated older horses. One of the horses he beat was the quarterback who won the Oakley Plate at just his very next start. He entered stud here at Vinery in 2016, and he's covered 2 good quality books of mares. He covered 168 mares in his first year. He covered 124 mares in his second year. And generally, quality breeds quality. So we knew we were in a very good position once his foals started hitting the ground. And this was backed up at the weanling sales this year. His weanlings sold tremendous. Up at the Magic Millions weanling sale, he had a colt bred by Nick Nolan out of an Encosta de Largo mare that was purchased for $170,000. But this colt was well backed up with other weanlings that made $80,000. $75,000, $72,000, and $70,000. And all this was off the back of a service fee of $15,000 plus GST. So you can see he's just a lovely individual. Again, we're getting some lovely foals born on the farm this year. We've already had 2 or 3. And they've got the same quality as the first crop. Thanks, Dwayne. But he's good looks, his speed, his pedigree. His first 3 dams were all stakes winners from 1,000 to 1,200 metres. And we've seen stallions like Not a Single Doubt, Written Tycoon, I Am Invincible. All non-Group 1 winners started a mediocre fee, but are now extremely good stallions.
Such a tough, sound, genuine.
We'll get into our youngest horse on our roster now, and another horse that offers breeders a lot of speed.
Australia's Premier Sprints, Star Turn at
And
Vinery Stud.
It doesn't take long to realise how fast this horse, just when you look at him, and this is Star Turn. You can see by his physique that he was going to be a fast horse. And he's got a pedigree that boasts speed. He's a son of Star Witness, who was a very fast racehorse in his own right. Of course, Star Witness was a Blue Diamond Stakes winner as a 2-year-old. He won the Coolmore Stakes as a 3-year-old. But his mother was also a very fast mare. She won 4 of her first 5 starts over in Perth before she went over to Victoria and won the International Stakes, a listed race at Moonee Valley, by 4 lengths. And she ended her career with 13 wins from 1,000 to 1,400 metres, including 5 stakes races. One thing I personally like to see in a stallion is stallions that made a lot of money as a yearling, and this particular horse did so. He made $400,000 as a yearling, at a time when Star Witness was still really establishing himself as a young stallion. But he was also purchased by renowned judge Alan Bell, who of course has bought horses like Scalacci, Grand Army, Primacy, Deep Field, and then this horse. Again, he was trained by Team Hawks, and again, it didn't take long for him to demonstrate what electrifying speed he had. He won the Piero Plate in October of his 2-year-old year by 3 lengths. And he contested all the major 2-year-old races of the season. He ran in the Blue Diamond in Melbourne, he ran in the Golden Slipper. But we really saw the best of him as a 3-year-old. He returned as a 3-year-old where he defeated Capitalist in the San Domenico Group 3 over 1,100 metres. And then he ventured down to Victoria and he put on one of the most amazing displays for a 3-year-old that year when he won the Scalacci Stakes Group 2 over 1,100 metres at Caulfield. And that day he defeated Group 1 winners such as Malagira, Hucklebuck, Flamberge and Turn Me Loose. But it was the way he won. He won by 2 1/4 lengths. And he actually set a race record for the 1,100 metre journey. And this is a race that's had previous winners like Speedsters, Miss Andretti, Buffering, and even Black Caviar won it twice. He was a very consistent galloper. He obviously came from a very strong crop of horses, Extreme Choice and Flying Artie, but this horse never dodged a task. He ran in all the good races. He was placed in the Coolmore, placed in the Lightning against Terra Vista, the Newmarket against Redkirk Warrior, and the William Reed. He was never unplaced as a 3-year-old. And he was just a very consistent sprinter. He was very well received in his first year last year. Obviously, his good looks, his speed pedigree, and he ended up covering 158 mares, and these have been very well received at the broodmare sales this year. He stands for 20,000 plus GST this year, and again, he's attracting a very good book of mares. We will show you one of his foals at the end of the parade, and I'll talk a little bit more about his foals then. But a great opportunity lies in breeding to these second-year horses nowadays, and we only have to look at a horse like Spirit of Boom and what breeders achieved by breeding to a horse like that in their second year. The next horse that we have coming out will complete a hat-trick of horses trained by the Hawks team, and of course Hall of Fame trainer John Hawkes has trained many good stallions like Longrow and Commands, and this horse All Too Hard. He of course is Black Caviar's half-brother. He was a headline horse at a very young age. He topped the Inglis Easter sales and was, I believe, the first horse to do so by a first season sire at the time. Clearly, being a half-brother to Black Caviar contributed to that, but you also have to have the looks, and he certainly does. It didn't take long for him to demonstrate what ability he had. He won his very first stakes, the Talendant Stakes, down the Flemington Straight, where Black Caviar won many of her great races. He also won the VRC Sires Produce Stakes by 4 lengths, and then went up to Sydney to win the Pago Pago. So he was a group-winning 2-year-old in Melbourne and Sydney. But it was as a 3-year-old that we really saw the best of this horse. Of course, he won the Caulfield Guineas in a very memorable race, defeating Piero, but was also second in the Cox Plate. In the autumn of his 3-year-old year, he came back. We had secured the horse at this stage, and for us, he only had the 3 starts for 3 Group 1 wins. He won the Futurity and the CF4 Stakes at Caulfield, and then went back up to Sydney to win an all-age stakes. So he was champion 3-year-old year of his year. And of course, having won 4 Group 1 races as a 3-year-old and second in a Cox Plate, he was also voted second in the Horse of the Year behind his big sister Black Caviar. I don't think we'll ever see first and second in the Horse of the Year out of the same mare. He retired to stud in 2013, and he hasn't taken long to make an impact as a stallion. He was the leading first season sire of his year by individual winners. He backed that up again last season to be leading second season sire. And last year he had 76 individual winners, and this has only been bettered by a second season horse like Northern Meteor, who had 80 in his year. He now has 16 stakes performers, including 5 stakes winners. He's got Villamont, who's a group winner in Melbourne and Brisbane. All Too Hoang, a stakes winner at Flemington. A good Group 2 winning horse over in New Zealand. Demonetization. And also stakes winning 2-year-olds like Curdled and Unfair Dismissal. The trainers love the stock of All Too Hard. They've got very good natures, and they show their ability early. And they were probably pushed a little bit hard the first year, but they really worked them out the second year. And his second crop, he had 13 individual 2-year-old winners. And to put that in perspective, that's more 2-year-old winners last year than Written Tycoon, Redute's Choice, Fastnet Rock, Long Row, and Choisir. He stands for 30,000 plus GST this year, and that really represents terrific value, being a young, proven horse. If you take all the stallions that had look at their 2-year-old and 3-year-old crops last year, only Schnitzel and I'm Invincible had more winners than this horse. So he's got the good crops coming through. So to be able to breed to a horse like that at 30,000, the breeders will certainly be able to reap the benefits when they go to the sales in years to come. We've got 7 stallions on the roster this year, and last and certainly not least is the living legend More Than Ready. Of course, foundation sire here at Vinery, a horse that we're extremely proud of. He's done wonderful things for our brand and our farm. And what you're looking at here is the stallion that no other stallion has sired more winners than More Than Ready, ever. There are only 2 stallions ever to sire over 1,500 individual winners. And that's More Than Ready, who's got exactly 1,700 winners at the moment, and Danehill's the other at 1,615. But they're not just winners, they're winners with great quality. He is currently the 5th leading sire by individual stakes winners with an incredible 190. And this is only bettered by the father and son combos of Danzig and Danehill, and Sadler's Wells and his son Galileo. His success as a stallion was instant. He was champion first season sire here in Australia in 2004 and 5. And that year he set an Australian record, or equal to Without Fear, with 6 individual stakes winners in his first year. He's the only stallion that's been champion 2-year-old sire here in Australia and America. Of course, he's been champion 2-year-old sire here in Australia twice. And it's a testament to what sort of stallion he is. He's a very versatile stallion. And amongst his 27 individual Group 1 winners are, of course, outstanding 2-year-olds like Sebring, the Golden Slipper winner, Feelin' Ready, a second Golden Slipper winner. He's got a Blue Diamond winner. He's got a Champagne Stakes winner. He's got an ATC Sires Produce winner and 2 Magic Millions winners. Also, 3-year-olds. He's got multiple Derby and Oaks winners. He sired 2 VRC Derby winners in Prized Icon and Benicio. He sired a Queensland Derby winner in Eagle Way, a Western Australian Derby winner in Dream Away, this year's Belmont Derby winner in America in Catholic Boy, More Than Sacred, a New Zealand Oaks winner, and Room Service, an American Oaks winner. He's got Group 1 sprinters like Perfectly Ready. He's got Breeders' Cup Sprint winners, 2 of them, Regally Ready and Roy H. Great milers like More Joyous, an 8-time Group 1 winner. and the dual Group 1 winner in America, Verrazano. And there's no slowing him down. The last 12 months has been one of his best. He's got 22 individual stakes winners over the last 12 months, and 4 of these at Group 1 level. His fertility hasn't slowed. There's still a lot to come from this horse. Winstar advised us before he came home that amongst their 26 stallions, he was the most fertile. Doesn't he look a picture at the age of 21? He remains at 60,000 plus GST this year, and he's still very popular at the sales. In the last 3 years, his yearlings have averaged over 200,000. They've sold up to 1.3 million, and even his weanlings have sold up to 320,000. We had a couple of fillies up at the Magic Millions this year, sold them for 650 and 500,000, so he's still as popular as ever at the sales. We're going to bring out the foal for you now, and this is one of the first star turn foals. And this mare is a mare called Miss Seton Sands, and she's a good example of the mares that he covered in his first year. She was a stakes winning mare. She was a winner at Flemington, and she was also second in a Group 1 race. And as you can see, he's really stamped his foal here. This is a lovely filly by him, and we're just over the moon. This week we've had 2 others, 2 ripping foals. We've had a very nice bay filly out of a mare called Single Doubt, who was a stakes winning, not a single doubt mare. So you'd think that foal was going to have plenty of speed, but again, a tall, leggy foal that is, very athletic. And just yesterday afternoon, we also had another filly, another bay filly actually, born out of a mare called Funtantes, who was a 4-time stakes winner of over 700,000. I've started getting a lot of phone calls and text messages from outside breeders with foals by this horse. Steve Morley from up at Glen Logan Park up in Queensland called me to say he had a lovely colt up there, and his actual comment was that he'd be very surprised if he may go through the whole foaling season and not see a better foal for the year. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, ladies and gentlemen.